In this video, we're going to cover design tips for a small bathroom remodel. Find out how, coming up next. What's going on, guys? Kendall here for Renos for Pros and Joes, helping you simplify the renovation and remodeling process. On this channel, we do hands-on product tool and gear reviews, as well as renovation tip and strategy videos like this one. If you're new to the channel, consider subscribing. Today, we're going to be discussing some big tips for designing and planning a small bathroom remodel or addition. So let's jump right into it. I'm going to be referring to my notes here, so don't mind me if I look down. I'm just trying to make sure that I don't miss anything. The first tip is to, from the outset, decide whether or not you're going to need a 3-piece bath or a 2-piece bath. This sounds like a very straightforward decision to make, but essentially what you need to know on the front end is if you can't have a 3-piece bathroom, if that is a complete deal breaker, or if you can settle for a 2-piece bathroom. Additionally, as you're designing your space, you also want to determine what elements you have to have in that bathroom. If you do have to have a 3-piece bathroom, does your 3-piece bathroom have to have a tub shower combo? Or can you live with just a standalone shower? So these are decisions that you want to ponder over and think through on the front end before you decide to move forward with actually beginning the project. And some of those decisions are going to be limited by the space that you have to work with. So just keep that in mind as you're working through your process to decide whether or not you are flexible on 2-piece to 3-piece, or if 3-piece is a must-have. On to the next tip. The next tip is to decide whether or not you're going to use a pedestal sink or a vanity. Now, they both have their pluses and minuses. The vanity is going to give you below cabinet storage, and in a small bathroom, storage is going to be always at a premium. However, on the flip side, the pedestal sink is going to give you a much more open feel with regards to your floor. And so you're going to lose storage space, but you're going to gain a more open feel. If you're going to use a pedestal sink, I recommend that you also try to make sure that you're able to make up some of that lost storage somewhere else in the bathroom or in the very near vicinity. On to the third tip. And the third tip is put the shower in the corner and make sure that the dimensions work, okay? And so putting the shower in the corner is going to save you space. The biggest thing that you want to be concerned with, particularly if you're going to be going with a shower only setup that does not have a tub, is that you're going to have a lot more leeway with the dimensions and the shape of the shower enclosure. And so you want to make sure that you don't make your dimensions too small, so that to the point where the shower is almost not functional. So let me quickly show you what I'm talking about. In the bathroom that I'm standing in, we have a shower that's in a corner. And if I step inside the shower here, you can see, I can close the door here, and I can put my elbows up, and I can turn in all directions, and I'm not hitting anything. So I can stand right here and imagine that I am actually taking a shower, and I don't have to worry about my elbows bumping walls or bumping the glass shower enclosure behind me. These are considerations that you want to keep in mind in the planning stage to make sure that you don't have issues down the line, because you wouldn't want to have to go back and try to make modifications to the shower shape or the size of the enclosure after your project has already gone underway, because that's going to affect everything else, such as your plumbing and things like that. So keep that in mind. On to the next tip. Okay, the next tip pertains to plumbing clearances. And specifically on this tip, I'm referring to your toilet. You want to make sure that you have checked your local building codes and make sure that you have the minimum clearance from your center of your toilet to any walls or obstructions that may be close to the toilet. This is good for the front as well as the left and right side, because at a minimum, you may be required by the building inspector to move your rough toilet flange in the floor to comply with local code. And in worst case scenario, because we're working in a small space, you may not have the clearance within your framed out bathroom to get into compliance. And if this occurs, you may have to actually move a framed wall in order to get into compliance. And depending on the speed and the way that you have your job plan, that wall may already have rough electrical and things like that already installed that will also have to be moved. So a word to the wise, make sure that you know what your local plumbing code requirement is what pertains to that toilet. Also, for those who are not pulling a permit, it's also important to look closely at those requirements for those toilet clearances, because that is an excellent rule of thumb. Once you start getting down below those clearances, your space is very, very, very tight, and it's gonna definitely affect the way that that toilet functions, and it's gonna definitely affect the way that people are able to use it negatively. So just always keep that in mind. On to the next tip. Okay, the fifth and final tip deals with small bathroom layout design. Specifically, you want to be able to sketch out any layout that you are prepared to move forward with. And this sounds very simple, but if you're working on a computer or you're working on a sketch pad, there's nothing like having something that is going to be drawn out in the actual size that it will be in order for you to really wrap your mind around whether or not that space and dimensions will actually work for you. And you have more than one way of doing this. If you're working in a space that is completely unfinished and open, and you're able to draw on the floor in magic marker or chalk, then have at it. That would be your ideal scenario. However, if you're still in the planning phases and haven't opened up anything yet, then just go and get you some large construction paper, or you can even tape together a gazillion sheets of legal paper or notebook paper, large enough to make the footprint of the bathroom so that you can draw in where all your fixtures and your locations are for your bathroom. What this will allow you to do is lay it on the floor, and will actually allow you to walk in, if you will, into the space and make sure that everything works and functions similar to the way that you had envisioned it on paper. Sometimes this will help you conceptualize or see that there's going to be some issues with clearance. Maybe a vanity is sticking out too far, or you don't have enough distance between a vanity and a tub, or you want more space near a commode or something like that. Okay guys, that concludes the bathroom remodeling and design planning tips for today. Hopefully you found this video informative. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel because we've got more project design and planning videos on the way. If you need further assistance, go to the website renosforprosandjoes.com and click on the consulting tab where you can see a list of services that we provide. While you're there, also check out the projects tab where you can see tons of before and after photos of some of our previous projects. Also be on the lookout for the bathroom planning and design ebook. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.